Hi, it's Joe Morgan with the Tech Leader Spotlight podcast, where we interview tech leaders to learn about their journey and leadership lessons learned along the way. This show is brought to you by the Tech Professional Money Operating System, where we help tech professionals who know they're doing well financially, but aren't certain if it's enough and want to make sure they're getting everything out of the dollars that they make. We help you invest cash wisely, make the most of stock awards, minimize your tax bill, and create clarity and confidence so you can spend less time worrying about your money and more time living the life you want. If you'd like more information, look me up on LinkedIn. That's Joe Morgan at Best Financial Life. So today I'm very excited to have with us Maya Nessirio, who is a software engineer at Google and is an experienced leader who specializes in cloud qualification systems. Welcome to the podcast, Maya.
Thank you for inviting me, Joe.
Great to have you here. So cloud qualification system. So tell me, what does that phrase mean to you? What does that mean?
Uh, so everyone who use Google Cloud experience the Google Cloud software, and everyone who develops software must go through qualification process in order for this software to roll out for the users. And I am my team, we create code tools and everything to make this qualification process as smooth as possible, as fast as possible. And because there are huge number of software engineers at Google Cloud, it is a complex process. So we have an entire team that makes sure that this process is well organized.
Great. So for somebody like me who's not in tech at all, what I hear you saying is that, of course, Google's all in the cloud. It's all a cloud residing system. And so you've got all these engineers and you need a qualification process for what actually goes live to make sure what? Security and make sure there's not conflicts with other things, all of that stuff.
All this stuff to make sure that, yes, that test coverage is good enough, that there is it is impossible to create software without errors. Yes, so that minimize the amount of errors and deliver new features, mostly for new features, more features. And in order to deliver them without conflicts, without new security issues, you need
Yeah.
to qualify everything, every new feature that is developed.
So that sounds like a big job, a big task for the team there.
In short,
So
it is backend for backend.
yeah, good. Well, I'm glad we have people like you doing that. So let's go into our regular questions. So tell me, what does leadership in the tech space mean to you?
I believe leadership in tech is fundamentally the same as any other leadership, and it starts with responsibility. So you become responsible for major projects, and more importantly, you become responsible for your team's success and failures, of course. So you get a seat at the table to see the broader picture of how your work and work of your team drives the company's success. And you get the incredible opportunity to drive and to inspire your team and see how they grow. And but there is a catch. You will have drastically less time. You will have to consciously decide which problems you will ignore. And you must understand that you will ignore much, 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 much more than you really want to ignore. So, yes, and you will almost never predict correctly was it a right choice or not. And I would say ultimately, tech leadership is about predicting the future and adjusting your team's effort accordingly. The more experience you have, the better your predictions are. And yet, as we know, future is not set in stone. You might have wrong predictions, and you'll be responsible for the outcome. So, yeah.
Yeah, so that's great. So that's a perspective I don't think we've heard yet on the podcast, is this idea of predicting the future, going where the future is heading, leading your team there. and of course suffering the consequences. We have heard that many times. But also, even when you may have a prediction for the future or a vision for the future, knowing that that can change as well, right?
Yes. Uh, yes, and it's important to always hear the rumors. For example, I was impressed how my manager quickly renamed my team name. And in the beginning, I didn't realize why. And only later, I learned that there was one word in my team name which I'm not allowed to pronounce, and two teams at Google were completely laid off with that word. So right now in my team name we have AI and ML, and
Yeah.
it sounded silly in the beginning, but he did such a great job, and I
Yeah.
just was impressed. I'm like, oh, this is why he's manager.
Yeah, well, it's important to have your finger on the pulse of what's important higher up, right? And to be able to, as a leader, to adjust towards those things.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you
Even
mentioned
the
like
small things like a name might have drastic impact.
yeah, because well, a name is a small thing, but um, it also affects your psyche and the way you think and the way you behave, and so it also reveals what you want other people to think of your group and what you have. So there was this huge change to where AI went into everything, right? Everything's called
Mhm.
AI, which feels a little bit ridiculous, but it's also if that's really the way things are going, then let's be upfront about it and let's be clear. So I get it. So you mentioned potential layoffs from time to time or people losing their jobs, and a lot of that's going on in the tech world around the area. And so with those challenges, what piece of advice would you give someone to create resiliency in the case of layoffs?
I will share my personal beliefs because I don't know the truth for everyone. Uh, I think resilience comes down to preparing for both the worst case scenario and the best case scenario. So, for the worst case scenario, you need three things: financial resilience. So, you build emergency savings, diversify your income, maybe even monetize a hobby as backup. Then, second, you need professional resilience. You never stop learning. Right now, as you mentioned, experiment with AI daily to experience how much it hallucinates. There is a panic that AI will replace jobs, and I believe AI will replace a lot of jobs. It's already happening. But people shouldn't forget that it will also create new jobs, like AI operators who can manage, lower that hallucination rate. I think like learning how to use AI, you also must learn how to use it responsibly. And you must understand that you never leave it without supervision.
Mm.
Of course, if you don't want to end up like Brian Thompson, the unfortunate former CEO of United Healthcare. I mean, I'm not sure if he relied on AI too much, but it is a good reminder that if AI will do some errors under your supervision, uh, you will be responsible for the outcome. You will face consequences. Uh, yes. So, and third thing, uh, mental resilience. I believe it's important also invest time in yourself. Uh, Layoffs mentally very hard thing to go through, and it will be good to create mental recovery plan. What will you do to get your mood up, to get yourself together? And it is important to learn right now that no actions guarantees 100% stability, but preparation, any type of preparation, improves your odds, and
Yeah.
it's great. Oh yes, and before I forgot, uh, it just covers the worst case scenario. Don't forget to also plan for the best case scenario.
Yeah.
What if you get a bonus or win a lottery or get a higher paying job? Like, you need to plan how you will invest this extra money so it will build a better financial resilience for bad days for you. So I vote to plan for the highs and the lows, and that applies to your finances, your career, and even for like daily energy levels. That is my personal recommendation.
I like that. So financial resilience, professional resilience, mental resilience. And I like the word resilience because we're not talking about the idea that you won't have any problems. We're talking about the idea of being able to survive those problems in the best way possible. And then focus on the best case. I like that too, because whatever the best case is, you can think of yourself, you're still going to have problems, right? Things are still
Yes.
going to be challenging. So there is no nobody in this life that I know of has either through luck or skill created themselves a situation where they have zero problems. So always being working on those three things has got to help: financial, professional, and mental resilience. That's great.
Yes. Surprisingly, with best case scenario, you will also have problems.
Of
Different one.
course. That's what life's all about, unfortunately. So turning to you personally, so what's the most important financial decision that you've made in your tech career, whether it's about comp or equity awards or taking a particular job or whatever it is?
Uh, in my career, the turning point for me was joining Google. Before that, I survived from paycheck to paycheck. And when I started to work at Google, I got money and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have this extra money. I don't know what to do with them. Life didn't prepare me for that. But it's like this where I understand that you need to plan for the best case scenario as well. And yes, starting to work at Google gave me capital to start investing.
Yep.
And also, I know that it was a great idea for me to tailor my investments to my personality. Uh, for example, I lived a very nomadic lifestyle, rarely staying in one place for more than a year or two. And when I bought my first house, I actually I thought that like, okay, right now this is I'm buying a house, I will live here forever. But I know myself, and based on my previous experience, there is a good chance that I will want to travel.
Yeah.
And I was looking for a property that I will be able to rent out in case I will want to travel for a year and live in another country. And yes, it's exactly what happened to me. Uh, and I was super happy that I tailored to my personality. And another thing that uh, other investments that I was avoiding was investments that require constant monitoring. I'm very bad with constant monitoring. I heard about people who are good at it, yet I still avoid it. And I believe that it is always much better with these investments. Try to automate everything,
Yeah.
like and yes, so far that works.
Yeah.
There might be better plans, but yeah, that works for me quite well.
Great. So joining Google, that was the most important financial decisions you made. And then, but then these are big financial decisions too, is once you get, some money, what do you do with it to make it work the right way for you? And what I heard you say is tailoring the investments to your personality. Again, something I haven't heard on this podcast. And very good that you're able to sort of step outside yourself and look at yourself and understand what's important to you and then make those decisions. That's terrific. I want to talk, if you don't mind, I'm curious about joining Google. So joining Google was an important financial decision. Were you considering not joining Google when you got the job offer?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, just curious.
But I mean, I don't know. Like, I would say that it was very hard for me to join Google. I failed job interview for 5 years in a row. Maybe the thing that I still was continuing going to the interview, and failures did not stop me.
Good.
Maybe this was the actual decision.
Yeah. So wow, okay, that's impressive. Well, good for you for sticking with it and here you are, right?
But yes, I'm.
Yeah.
you raised my confidence. And I've been at Google for 9 years. They still didn't get rid of me. And I'm super surprised and super happy.
Well, you must be doing good work for them. That's terrific. So, and just like you've done good work for us on the podcast, I really appreciate your openness and what you've shared today. So, thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, thank you for inviting me.
Terrific. Just as a reminder, this is sponsored by the Money Operating System, where tech leaders gain clarity and control of their finances so they can live out the rest of their lives with intention. If you want to know more about us, look me up on LinkedIn, Joe Morgan at Best Financial Life.